Hey peeps, DJMK here, and welcome to another episode. Today I'm finally doing the sewing episode. This is my new machine that I'm using today. So, I got through most of the rigorous process so that way you don't get too bored. So, I basically made my own design where it folded against the face just a little bit better. So, um, the nicest thing about this is that you can do custom measurements to your face. So in my case here, I decided to go a little bit more of like a split in terms of your face. Like, so it's like over here, and then the other bit's over here. Um, and then join them together, and then I have like a little bit of filter material here that I stuck on here, and then I'm going to stitch it all together. I also have some pipe cleaners, since wire tends to be pretty hard to come by, but pipe cleaners are pretty easy to come by, thankfully, still, because pipe cleaners are used for other crafts besides this, so it's great. I also recommend that you get some really good scissors, handle them accordingly, safely and accordingly, of course. So these kinds are for fabric, and this kind was like garden shears. I like the sound they make whenever I snap something. Like, feels like a snap of the fingers. But yeah, these ones are for thread. So, fabric, thread, fabric, thread, thread, fabric. Remember these ones? Okay. So I'm needing. So right now at this point, I'm just like neatening up some. I'm just neatening up some of my stitches here. So I'm gonna put the musical through headphones. I've been watching a lot of Broadway and West End musicals lately. So, because I admit, one of my biggest dreams is to perform on stage in a musical one day. I mean, not that I haven't done it before, I have. I just would like to do it a little bit outside the school context, if you know what I mean. So I'm thinking, like, the moment I'm able to like get out of here and shows start happening again in the local theaters, I might audition for a show. So that's kind of my dream. So hopefully you enjoy the sound of this sewing machine as it's working, because it kind of serves a little bit of a weird ASMR in a way. So I don't know if there's like sewing machine ASMR. There probably is. But I hope it kind of gives you a little bit of involuntary ASMR in here in a way. So I know my sound's a little low, but because I have no mic attached at the moment, and I can't find my headphones, but I hope you still enjoy the process of this. Let me see if I can pull you just a little bit closer. And a little bit lower. There we go. There we go. Get up close and personal here. My hand still is kind of out of commission. And I admit I haven't written since the virtual write-in a few days ago. I've been so tired. My energy's flagging. I can totally feel it. Like, the ideas are there. It's mainly confidence at this point. So I'm just gonna try my best with what I've got with these remaining days. I don't care if I don't hit the goal. I just want to get it done. Like, just get close to, just say that I committed to something for the entire month of April. So, all right, here we go. I mean, I did a little bit of sewing when I was 13, though I never really learned how to sew per se. I was mainly like watching relatives do this stuff. So I'm very much self-taught. And I may do like more formal lessons once I get out of here again, but I like crafting, so I could do a crocheting video at some point, just like talk with you. Seems like crocheting is a very popular activity even now, because outside has been rather unexpectedly cold. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be that cold, you know? But it was. A little bit of extension out here, okay? Put that up. Alright, they are playing Jesus Christ Superstar theme pretty heavily. So I did Jesus Christ Superstar earlier. I also did, um, earlier, I also did, I wasn't even planning it either. I also did the Les Mis musical, the 10th anniversary version in particular with Lea Salonga and oh man, he played the priest in the film version of the film version of Les Mis, but he's like one of the biggest actors in the West End. You know what I'm talking. Most play buffs, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, they also assembled like 17 of the the Jean Valjeans all over the world, and one of them is hilarious. One of them is the very person I was talking about yesterday, Takashi Kaga. Yes, the very guy who played the chairman in Iron Chef. You know, the dude's in his 60s and he still looks amazing. Like, oh my gosh. Like, if he just dyed his hair, if he, like, dyed his hair or something, he could totally pass for his younger self, like, back in the 90s. Holy moly, he was, like, in his 50s when he did, when he did, when he did musicals back in the day. Like, that's incredible. Like, whoa. Like, I wish to be somebody like Takashi Kaga or Lea Salonga when I grow up. Like, somebody who just does their job just because they love it, and no matter what roles they get, they just have fun with it. Like, that's the person I want to be when I grow up. I know I'm in my mid to late 20s at this point, but I feel like I still have a lot of growing up to do, you know? There's still a lot of things that I'm still trying to figure out. Because, I mean, I am doing a grad program, but in the end, I'm still figuring out, like, what do I want my life to be? What do I want my career to be? So I think this quarantine, in some ways, I mean, it is a big privilege, even in the first place, to be able to do stuff like this. But one of the big things that I especially have embraced in this quarantine period is the fact that I'm able to talk with you guys and be able to uh, relax and consider things. Because I'm not gonna lie, there are things that I do think about. There are a lot of things that I do think about. So yeah, let me separate this and see how this looks. Does this look neat at all? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not bad. So, yeah, doing a new design, it's not easy, let me tell you. And they got the Tim Rice and Elton John's Aida on here with the original cast, um, Heather Headley, Adam Pascal, and Sherry Renee Scott. I just love, I just love the original cast of Aida. I wish I could meet them. Probably it's pretty good that I won't. I mean, the latter two are still in Broadway. Heather Headley is doing more of a gospel music thing. Um, I don't know if she's still doing theater or not, but man, just I would love to meet these guys, as well as Kate Mulgrew. Kate Mulgrew is one of my favorite actresses of all time. She's actually doing a special cocktail hour every Thursday for 6 fans that decide to like enter into this contest, this letter writing contest. And I've been wanting to submit, but I've been so nervous. I'm thinking, like, what if my entry is not good enough? On the other hand, though, you never know until you try, right? It's just trying to get past that procrastination hurdle, because it's like one of my heroes here. This is a chance that I could possibly meet my hero here. Ah, it's so hard. It's so hard. But yeah, it would be an absolute dream. It would be an absolute, let's just be honest and say, miracle even, if I'm able to meet her, because she is such an amazing actress. Um, some of the stuff that she's been through is pretty astounding. I just started listening to her bios, Born with Teeth and How to Forget. Um, and it's just amazing. Like some of that stuff there that's why she got picked for that role. Like she clearly embodied the struggle of going from one side to the other. And I would just look forward to talking about how she still kept the motivation going, like how she even came across the acting thing. Did she do it out of survival? Was it out of interest? Was it out like how did she come to the perspectives that she came to now? Um, how does she look at Janeway now that she's been like what 25 years out of the role? Is it kind of like how Sir Patrick Stewart looks at Picard now? Would she want to try again at this point in her career? She's fulfilled a lot of the dreams that she set out already in in her performing career. Like, what things does she want to explore next? Like, those are things I like to talk about. And I also wrote this poem based on my favorite episode, which turns out to be also going to be her favorite episode in Voyager, which is Counterpoint. Season 5, Episode 10, in case you're wondering. Yes, I am that specific of a nerd here. It's one of the most psychologically complex episodes I have seen. Where you basically got two commanding officers. Both of them have their goals that they have to fulfill. How Kate Mulgrew says it's basically a coup within a coup within a coup, or a play within a play within a play. Either way, it's the same thing. But just the complexity. And I think it also helps that, like, I think the guy who plays Kashyyyk, Mark Harwillick, and Kim Mulgrew are BFFs in real life. So that chemistry was off the chain. Oh my god. Whew. Yeah, sometimes the best friends can often make the best chemistry. Case in point, Sierra Bodges and Ramin Karimloo, they're best friends, but the chemistry that they showed in Phantom of the Opera and Love Never Dies, whew, like, it would be enough to set a number of campfires on fire. I didn't have an adequate word for it. But yeah, so now I'm going to try and attach to this piece. I basically put the pipe cleaner here so that way it gets a little bit of hot glue for my glue gun to just reinforce it a little bit, so that way when it has to bend, it doesn't feel as flimsy, you know? Because that's the one thing, that's the concern I always have with like pipe cleaners in the masks now is like, is it going to be super flimsy? So gonna attach that in here. So these filters I put in here, they're not removable, but they are going to be pretty easy to wash. So that's the one blessing here. So next piece what I'm going to do is the original run of Tim Rice's and Elton John's Aida, like I mentioned earlier. In case you want to follow along, you can do that. I'm doing it completely in my headphones, so. But yeah. I'm gonna attach this here. This is gonna be tricky. Oh my gosh, because I don't have any pins, so I'm going very bare bones of my resources. Wait, I do have a second needle though I could use. Let me see. Also, I forgot David Henry Hwang was part of Aida. I totally forgot about that. And I'm a big fan of his writing. Like, he's the guy who did M Butterfly. Some would be familiar with the film adaptation starring Jeremy Irons and John Lone, though I think the original was starring John Lithgow and oh my god, he was big in Mr. Robot and in Gotham. How am I forgetting his name? I see him everywhere now. Um, and literally he's everywhere. What is his name? He's a Chinese American. BD Wong. That's what his name is. BD Wong. I didn't even look him up in the phone. It starred John Lithgow and BD Wong in the original run, and unfortunately, there are not many recordings of that. You can see a few of them in the Tony Awards, but that one is super interesting. I had to watch it for my college class, and I still have a copy of the play to this day. It's that fascinating, especially if you pair it with Edward Said's um, book on Orientalism. It makes a great discourse on Asian representation in media. It's a really it just you could easily make an a lecture series on that alone. In fact, that was kind of how I learned about it. It was women in women in performance. That was the class I took in Bryn Mawr College. My Emily Balch seminar. I don't know if they still give it out now because it's been like almost 10 years since I've taken it. That is crazy. Wow, it's been 10 years. Time flew, guys. Well, technically it's more like 27. So, take away 10, add 2. 7. Never mind. It was 7. No. 8. 8. There we go. 8 years. No. This is bothering me. 9. There we go. 9. Almost 10 years. There we go. 9 years. It's been 9 years since I've taken this class. I don't know if they still teach it over there, but if they do, I recommend it. It was so interesting. I ended up talking to the professor for hours on that play alone. It was that fascinating. But yeah. I actually have the, you know what? I actually have the music book right here. Hold on one sec. Look at me. I managed to, here I am again with the classic topic diversion. I start off with sewing, I end with musical talk. Yeah, David Henry Wong. Man. I mean, Aida is one of my dream roles. If I could produce it, or somebody else, or if, like, by chance, Broadway decides to revive it tomorrow, I would totally audition. Like, it's my dream role. I don't look perfect for it right now, but if I work my butt off in the next few months, I would be a musical machine. Just watch me. Just watch me. Oh my god. There's so much in what I do when I get out. It's so frustrating. But I'm gonna quote Jesus Christ Superstar. Gotta focus what I can do today. Don't freak out so much about what you gotta do tomorrow, what's already past. Well, it's not the exact quote, but it's close enough. Anyway. I should totally like put that on like my shelf or something. So it's like the first thing I see when I wake up and the last thing I see before I go to bed. It's actually a pretty good idea. I might actually do that. Anyway, let's get these pipe cleaners on and let's get this musical started. Because I've been pausing this for too long. Anyway, here we go. Oh, right. I get to get pins. That's why. That's why I was like taking a while to stitch this up. Because I need something to hold. I need something to hold this down. Because I can't hold it like that. I also need to wrap my hand at some point. Because, man, like, my hand is not liking me right now. you know those moments where you feel too focused to go upstairs, but you kind of have to at some point. That's what I'm feeling right now. I don't want to go upstairs, but I know I have to at some point. So yeah. So for this part, let me go. I'm gonna split this in half here. So here, I'm gonna go about this area, and then we'll do. So we're gonna do it in two parts. So that's very classic here. Usually it's like more pins than this, but hey, I'm short because I'm very. Plus, it's not. This is not a tutorial. You do your own thing, but hey, consider this kind of a light, like a tutorial light. Is music on? Not here yet. Unless, did I turn it on? Oh, it's very low. Okay, there we go. So I first heard about Aida through my late godmother, actually, and my god sister, because like they love Broadway musicals, and they used to play a lot of them in the car whenever they would pick me up and drop me off. I remember one of the first ones they showed me was not Aida. It was Annie. Yeah, the first one was Annie. I couldn't get into it initially, but then once I watched a show in my high school, then I fell in love with it. I was like, okay, I could see the appeal, and especially when I think that was around when theater companies were actually starting to do um, we're starting to do female versions um, of female versions of what is this name? What happens dance? Wow! What, like the rich benefactor that adopts her? What is her name? That's bothering me. Don't know what it is. Um, Oliver Warbucks. Warbucks. They started like that's the year around the year they started doing the the female version of Oliver, which I think they named Olivia. Yeah, that's when they started doing Olivia Warbucks, and then I think that's when they thought like I think like the smaller theaters started doing it because especially like if you went to an all women's school or an all girls school. Um, so that's how they first learned about it. And then eventually Broadway started accepting that interpretation because they wanted to reflect the demographics. And of course there was the Cohesive Wallace adaptation um, where they decided to make Oliver Warbucks black with Jamie Foxx. So changing it's Annie's starting to get a big change from her redhead her curly red-headed roots. So that's pretty interesting. And then Aida came second. So Aida first got its off-Broadway gig in like 1997, 1998, I believe. Um, Back in the day, like it was an off-Broadway thing. You can actually still find the concept album um, of the original off-Broadway play. The recordings, unfortunately, for that are sparse compared to like things like Fela. Fela, we could easily find their off-Broadway story, but yeah. Started off as off-Broadway for a few years, and then it got on Broadway around 99, 2000. So it got the point where it got to this now was like 1999 or 2000, and that's around when I first heard the musical. Was like through the soundtrack. I was like, oh my gosh, this is interesting. I did hear about the opera before the actual musical. I was like, whoa, this is interesting. And then re-listening to it again today, it's kind of shocking, kind of sad, but kind of astounding about how this musical still holds up. Like, if you look at it as like a story of enlightenment, especially on Radamese's part, if you really think about it, if you think about it as a story of enlightenment, um, especially if you're trying to like go against like the grain of imperialism, because of the way the Egyptians are portrayed versus the Nubians are portrayed, it makes total sense. Like, whoa. So yeah, if you look at it that way, it totally works. So, I mean, if I had to put on this play myself and I acted as Aida, like that's the direction I would give for the actor of Radames. Like, think of it as kind of this one massive revelation for each of these characters. Amneris, by realizing she doesn't have to hide behind her fashion or her wealth to be herself. Radames is like observing the consequences of the actions that he took for the Egyptians and for himself and his adventures at the consequence of the people around him. And then Aida is just, for her, I think out of all of them, she is the most static character of the three because her aim was already set from the get go. It was like there were so many things that she wanted to achieve. She also has her people to think about. So it's kind of like the Esmeralda debate where she has her own dreams she wants to fulfill, but ultimately because she's a royal, she kind of has to put her people first. But then, ooh, her lesson though is to support herself a little bit, just to like, I mean, in some ways it's like accepting other people, accepting the help and the love of other people, but then also like accept it within herself too. Accept it not because of duty or social expectation, but just because she can, because it's her human right to feel loved, to be loved, to be able to be um, herself, to be spiritually free, especially when physical bond is very much a thing. I mean, for her case, it's very literal. So yeah, it's like a tale of morals, and then a tale of like internal morals, not and then having an external consequence, and then what I kind of imagine for the ending sequence is that um, rather than Aida and Radames, like the resurrections of them anyway, meet up in front of the tomb, I think instead they should meet up in front of Amneris. So that way it's kind of like, it takes that Trinity full circle. Like, you get like three friends reunited together in one spot. Granted, it's in a museum, but I mean, like, it would just be much more beautiful to have the three friends right there in the museum in that one spot. So, hey. That's how I would change up a little bit to kind of, because in the end, it's three people in a massive universe. So, yeah, that's how I would do it if I staged it myself. I would, of course, be open to understudies as well. I would alternate between the main cast and the understudies, so that way they each have a chance to shine. Because let's face it, the understudies don't get a chance to shine enough, and oftentimes it could be, it's like it could change. It could change your career. Like Hugh Jackman, for example, he was an understudy for quite a lot of musicals before he became the big star that he is today. So same thing with Bette Midler, I think. Or Kathy Najimy actually was a understudy for Bette Midler actually at one point. So very clear that these things do have an impact on people's confidence, but also opportunities. So personally, I would alternate between the two, so that way the main cast member doesn't get stressed out of trying to be 100% every single day, and then the understudy would have a chance to shine with her skills too. It's not gone to waste. So it's a win-win for both parties. There you go. Anyway, I've been putting out this musical because I love this musical so much. Because I've watched it so many times. This is the tricky part about confidence. It's like, you don't want to be so arrogant that you don't take feedback, but then you don't want to oversell, like oversell something that you may not be able to deliver. If that makes any sense. Ooh, I didn't put that down. Okay. Melancholy, ready to This is a story of a love that flourished in a time of hate. A lovers no they could separate. Situations in their shores, and ignited by an act of war. Control, justified, if you're exploited, fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the brave. That intro, that wakes you up if you knew it right. It's like, boom, let's get down to business. I kind of wonder why Mulan doesn't get a stage musical. It would be so awesome to watch. Fortune favors the brave. Oh yeah, also elastic. Getting like a flat elastic is really good. And then one clever thing that I came across was people using carabiners or like those rope wristlets as a way of securing to the back of the head, so that way the ears don't do too much work, which is genius. That's genius. There's ourselves on the wall. Fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the brave. Dang, they have lung capacity. I need to like work my way up. Especially for Aida. Like, man, she can hold. And care even less. Could you understand her emptiness under wisdom? No, for a spirit, but that you will never possess. waste this uncertainty I had. Future. From which I can't return. Sounds of cereal, senses sparks what I must learn. You inside, and watch all the treasures burn. Inside my childhood treasures burn. Build another pyramid. Just like I saw the dead. Just waited as builders build another pyramid. Build it, build it. Of the pyramid. Very Elton John. Not gonna lie. On the river now. Build it, build it. Build it, build it. Build it, build it. Build it. Boom, 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 boom. Like another pyramid's kind of an insane song. It doesn't fit with the rest of the show, but it's a fun one. I'm not gonna lie. You are his daughter. So how I know you. Yes, I know you. As you say, it's nothing left unknown. Now I'm just a slave like you. Our lives are not our own. You never see my face. It's us. And every time a place you don't know me. Yes, I know you. You don't know me. You, how I know you. Princess of Beauty, Wisdom, and Accessories. I'm sorry. It's just. Oh, motivating plans and good advice. So, look at this. Active deportment and other forms of sacrifice. To press. Forget the inner me. Observe the outer. Looking like a young earth is cooking with a polka dotted striped or even checked. Time. Alright, so that's pretty heavy duty here. Look at that. That's gonna form my face pretty well. Okay, let's get rid of some of these stray threads just to give a better finish. Even though it's really clear this is handmade. Handmade essentially had to be messy. Let's take care of that. Yeah, wear what I wear. Which one should I make the front? This one looks more folded in, but I'm thinking this one. Oof, my wrist is not liking me right now. Ooh, okay. I could do this. I'm just in the last part of this thing. horizons I cannot pursue. Just fall behind me and put my faith and trust in something new. Tell you this, I just met. No, I should forget. Journey can we dream of? Enchantment passing through. The ways to lead to you. And why would I tell her this? A stranger I just met. What did I only know and I will forget. Just passing through. Over this, but she already knew. She knew. Thread triggers, there we go. Almost done. Oh. All right, we got it done here. All right, we got that done, guys. Ooh, you can put it over your headphones even. That's pretty cool. All right, but that's my mask right here. I might put up a PDF of this if anybody's interested in what I'm doing. But yeah, this is a lot of fun to do. My hand is still recovering, um, but yeah, this is awesome. Get to listen to some musicals, stitch up some masks, and do whatever. I know I was gonna do outfit stuff too, but I think I might save it for next stream. So until then, you guys, you know the usual stuff, all my promo stuff. Um, in terms of the next stream and stuff. I'm going to be back tomorrow with some more writing. But until then, take it easy, y'all. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe, of course. and may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, I will see you later. Bye. Bye.